Good morning. This is Professor Anderson with part two of a rough draft feedback for writing assignment number 4. So I shared with you the importance of using active voice and making certain that the subject is actually doing the action in your sentence, which, short, sweet, to the point. So let me just give a quick more. Let me just give another example or a few more examples. So various obstacles that inhibit communication from being effective are communication barriers. Better to say, communication barriers are inhibiting, are obstacles in our dance plays. We Some of them are language, cultural, individual, and organizational barriers that impact our communication. And you can still report this as still cite this as Jane, because this is enumerating and listing the different types of barriers. So that was the one thing. Another thing that oh gosh, sorry about that. Thought I'd turn my phone off. Another thing that I noticed in here, and that is in your rumor. There we go. So in your rumor where you have this listed, I like how you list these out, 3 different ways for dealing with, or methods that you're going to implement. The first one here, when you detail rumor, make certain that you detail. I would recommend detailing it in bullet points. So, for example, one was specified to rumors alone, and it was actually named rumor. First of all, you need to. That's not a complete sentence. You want to make it with respect to the idea. I would better to say rumor, RUMR, and italicized, is a recommendation by Ramani that breaks down dealing with rumors in a specific task-oriented way, period. The acronym stands for semicolon, and then bring a bullet point in, R, and then another dash, remaining indifferent, and then give the definition of that. Then underneath of that bullet point, U, understanding the impact, and then give the definition of that. So what you do is you're trailing your reader through visually so that they can see the rumor. Here, it's hard to figure out what that acronym stands for. So at least for me, that was difficult. And then there are several other examples as I moved through where when you're listing your information, think about it visually and how it impacts the reader. So then when you move down into your conclusion, I would write this as conclusion and recommendations. So our situation in communication in our dance company it has great room for improvement. The issues, issues at hand which are in need of repair are, and then list them. And then down here where you had, I want to say here, yes. So I recommend that you do somehow create a graphic for this information. You have a lot of suggestions for addressing the communication errors, and I wonder if a graphic would better display that, because as I roll through here, I'm trying to see how each portion is attached to another. So perhaps an individual figure in the center, or 3 figures, the one representing the coach, one representing the dancer, one representing the parent, and then maybe arrows that curve and title them inside of one another. I'm not sure. That's just something that came to my mind when I was reading through here, is that I wasn't sure how each of these recommendations works together, and listing them, in words. It was difficult for me to make that connection, and at the same time, that underscored, I realized how difficult the communication process must be in your situation, because it's hard for me to visualize how it can work out. I'm just recommending a graphic that might help to also, oftentimes, that there's that old adage that says a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, it really is. Oftentimes, graphics just underscore the information and make, for whatever reason, they just make the information come to life and much more clear. So those are my suggestions, and I look forward to reading your final copy.